Hey guys, here we are again with another episode of Nerd Girls Rock. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. I actually had an interaction recently, and it made me think about doing this recording. So here we are today. I am inspired, and of course, I'm going to share it with all of you. Okay, the interaction that I had was with a family member, and everyone else was kind of, I've been away for a while. Took a little space, okay. And I think that everyone was just kind of having a normal, kind of positive interaction, the kind of interactions you're supposed to have, with your family. And one of my family members decided to bring in a buttload of negativity. Now, any empaths out there, of course, we're all empathic in some sort of way, but some of us have the gift a little bit stronger than others, okay? And if you're that kind of person, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. I tend to walk around with this shield up a lot because I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive to energy, all kinds, all the time. It can get very annoying. It can be very frustrating. It can be overwhelming, especially out here in the world today when there's so many different energies and frequencies mixing and hitting you all the time. So I try to protect myself by, keeping up a shield. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of energy to constantly have that. Okay. And of course, you let it down every now and again. But for me, I felt the need at that time to just keep it up. And so that's what I did. And it was like ting to ting ting ting. I'm just like, oh my God, the hate is strong with this one. Okay. So, it made me think of, and then I got this massive headache. I'm sorry, it's my phone. I got this massive headache, okay, after the fact. And I realized immediately what it was. It was the fact that I was holding up the shield, and then at the same time, I am dealing with this negative force. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna shut that down for right now. Give me a second. Uno momento. Okay, gonna shut this down. All right, we're gonna, yeah, put all that on mute. Okay. All right, back to our point in our amazing video. Yes, me and you and us. All right, let's go. Okay, after that, okay, like I said, I had this massive headache, and I knew immediately what it was. It was the fact that, I'm just trying to stay positive, and I'm using my energy because I'm taking on, not only am I holding up a shield so that I'm not that affected, okay, and I'm not taking on that energy unto myself. I'm also trying to take whatever energy is getting through and is coming my way and trying to process it and turn it back into positive energy, okay? So that I can use it because I need it. I do a lot, okay? And I think it's better. I don't think a lot of people understand that you can do that, but everybody can do it. What do they say about life? Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Okay, I was trying to make lemonade over here, and that also takes a lot of energy to do that process and hold up a shield at the same time. So I was recognizing that my body was just like, what is going on here? What are you do? What are you doing? Like, I had to be like, okay, so somebody needs to take freaking five. All right. Um, and I feel like I just kind of handled the situation and I went on about my business. But it made me do this video because a lot of people do not understand how energy can actually affect your body physically. It has a physical effect on the world around us. For example, if you have a pet, you ever notice that when you're upset, even though your pet probably doesn't have the slightest clue as to what's going on, they're upset as well. They're a little moody too. Okay. And that's because they're feeding off of your energy. They feel your energy. Usually pets react differently. Even when you're sick, they come sit by you. They're kind of like, it's going to be okay. They try to comfort you as much as possible because, like I said, even though they do not probably have the slightest clue as to what's going on, they know something is wrong and they're naturally compassionate, so their first instinct is to be there for you. We need more humans like that, yes? Okay. So, I brought up I'm gonna bring up some examples here for you to help you understand because a lot of people are just like, yeah, okay, bull. But I'm gonna bring up some experiments that have been conducted throughout history, okay, to help us understand how that actually happens and in what way does it happen. So one of the first people to try to delve into this, which he actually did, was Masaru Emoto, which is a Japanese scientist who conducted the water emotions experiment. Now, a lot of people are unfamiliar with this these days, so I'm going to catch you up. What he did was he started communicating with plants, I'm sorry, with water crystals. He was taking things like vials of water from clean streams, fresh water, natural water sources, and he was looking at how they developed depending on the energy that was taken in around them. These water sources were sometimes mucky, sometimes crystal clear, sometimes they were a little bit cloudy, but they were all living sources of water, okay? And he looked at them under a microscope and kind of figured out after freezing them and looked at how the crystals developed depending on the energy that was being taken on by the water. He noticed that water sources that were surrounded by a lot of negative energy, high crime areas, areas of poverty where the people were depressed majority of the time or angry. He noticed that the water crystals actually developed in a very strange and weird sort of way. They took on very nasty and ugly shapes that were just not appealing to the eye, okay? There was clean water that took on negative energy. And he would even expose them to different types of energy. Like he would take the vials and freeze them. And as they were freezing, he had things like love written across some vials. The ones that had positive messages formed into these beautiful crystals, sometimes reflecting rainbow colors, different shades of blue, and it was just really amazing to see how water freezes, and nobody's speaking to these plants. Okay, now they started to speak to them after a while and play certain types of music around the water, and it was reacting as it was freezing. They were freezing this reaction in time. And what they came to notice was that any water that was exposed to negative energy was just, it could be perfectly clean, and it just took on this form that was just disgusting and icky, and it looked very unappealing. It didn't look very refreshing. It didn't really look much like water after a while. And then he noticed that he brought it to the attention of the population that water that was exposed to positive energy and positive affirmations and positive messages were actually taking on these beautiful, wonderful shapes and reflecting all these beautiful different colors. And it was a very interesting experiment to see how our water was affected by the transference of negative as opposed to positive energy. I'm going to go through another one that does talk about plants, and that's why I kept bringing up plants earlier. I was ahead of myself. Originally studied by Indian scientists, now I might screw this name up, okay? Jagadish Chandra Bose, okay? Now, he conducted experiment in the 1900s, and then it was picked up by Patrick Geddes, continued the study to discover that plants reacted accordingly to electric and physical stimuli, meaning they were electrically exposing them to different frequencies because positive energy actually vibrates at one frequency and the negative energy vibrates at a lower frequency, and it affects things differently. So that's why people tell you, sing to your plants, talk to your plants, that kind of stuff, because during these experiments it was actually discovered more so by Cleve Baxter, okay, conducted a study in 1969, discovered that plants not only are just as perceptive as humans, but they also have an extrasensory perception, ESP, okay, meaning that they can kind of predict quite accurately events and kind of what's going to happen next. And that's why you see plants react certain ways sometimes. Sometimes you might see a flower, close up or whatever, and you might be like, hey, what's going on? It's not about to rain out here. The sun is out, whatever, whatever. And then something really bad happens. Or you might actually see there's things that they call walking trees, where the trees actually move. And some of those trees move beforehand according to where the sun is going to hit the next day to gain more exposure. Interesting, right? But that's why people say that. That's why they say sing to your plants, talk to your plants, treat them as if they are children, because that's exposing it to positive energy. And plants that are exposed to positive energy not only grow stronger and have longer lifespans, but they also produce, if it's a plant that produces offspring, or if they produce fruit, the fruit is sweeter, it's fresher, it's juicier. You can just feel the positivity running through it. You can actually see the internal health in the green of the plant's leaves, or the strength of its roots and things like that. Now, if you talk to a plant any old kind of way, and they're just like, oh well, whatever, and you're giving it negative energy, you're being neglectful, you're saying horrible things to it, that plant is going to wither away and die so fast it's not funny. Okay. And if you don't believe me, these are experiments that you can actually conduct yourself in your own home. It's the results, I'm telling you, it's going to blow you away. Okay, to see how energy, not touch, not, no physical actions or anything like that, just the transference of energy, the energy that a song brings about, that will have a physical effect on either the water or the plant in your home. So if you don't believe me, I think this is something that everybody can afford to do, so that way you can understand a little bit better. And that's why they say words carry their own energy, because words can be very harsh. Like if somebody says something to you that is just, ugh, it cuts your soul, and it hurts your feelings, and it makes you feel like crap. Well, you notice that's what it does. It's the words, it's the energy of the words that make you feel like that. But if somebody's giving you positive energy, and they're giving you positive feedback, and they're just like, oh, you're so amazing, you do great things, you're a great person, when you're giving somebody that, okay, and you notice it puts a little bit of pep in your step, you feel like you can do anything, because that's them transferring their positive energy onto you, and you can actually use that. Okay. Now, today in 2019, we've entered into the world of bioenergetics. Katie, what the fuck is that? Okay, so bioenergetics is the study of how different frequencies and energy physically affect living organisms, and we're talking about not just water. Okay, we're not talking about just plants. We're talking about humans as well. They're starting to study how energy has an effect, a physical effect, on the human body and mind. Wow, right? It took us all this freaking time. We had to study plants and water first before we got the point to study how this affects us. Crazy, right? Anyway, but they're into it now. The scientific world is breaking into it, and they're really coming to understand how this happens and in what way. Okay, so one of the things that we've come to understand is that when children are exposed to a lot of negativity in childhood, a lot of mental illnesses come from that, such as anxiety, PTSD, narcissistic abuse syndrome, borderline personality disorder. All these things are coming from a child being exposed to a lot of negative events and a negative energy, and it's very traumatic for them. And it chemically changes the brain, okay? And it gives them things like anxiety. And in anxiety, if you have anxiety all the time and your adrenaline is constantly pumping, a lot of negative energy affects things like your heart. It can cause you to have hypertension. That's horrible, right? It can cause wounds to heal slower. If you cut yourself and you're somebody who harbors a lot of negative energy, you might heal slower than somebody who exudes a lot of positive energy. Okay. Their blood is usually different. I've noticed that there's actually a smell for me. I thought about going into the medical field a couple of times, but I can smell blood. I don't like that smell. I am sorry, folks. Would love to be your doctor. I can't take that smell, but I'm learning some tricks and trades, and I might actually be going up pursuing that idea. So anyway, there they did an experiment where they put a baby, okay, in front of their mother, and they asked the mother to do, positive affirmations, smile a lot, and things like that. And the child reacted accordingly. The child was much happier, better mood, higher spirits, and more playful, and definitely trying to be more communicative verbally. Um, then they asked the mother to, walk away for a little while, take a break, come back and interact with the child again. Except this time, they wanted the mother to basically ignore the child, neglect the child's emotional needs and attempts at communication. And that's exactly what she did. And the child became frustrated, okay? She became annoyed. She became angered. And at some point, she became so upset that the mother just had to be like, oh my God, I have to react. Um, and that's typically people don't realize that, and that's a perfect example as well. My headache. Oh my God. You ever deal with somebody and then afterwards you feel drained? You just you feel like I don't even, you know what? I just want to go back home and lay down in my bed. Because it took a lot out of your body to have to deal with that. Humans in just in life in general, okay? We were not meant to conduct ourselves in negative energy, okay? This is not something that we were meant to be exposed to all the time. All right. And that's what we're doing these days. We're constantly dwindling the frequency of positive energy, and we're pumping up the population of and the amount of people that deal in negative energy, and they're harboring things and they're holding on to it and they're just passing it along, not realizing that it's having an effect on everything that it touches, from even even animals. I'm sorry, getting tongue tied. Even animals react. You can tell what kind of person somebody is when they say, by the way, your animal reacts to it. If your pet, you have a certain friend that your pet just isn't fond of, and they don't like that person, they try to attack that person, or they're just not around when that person is around, they make themselves scarce or whatever. That is your pet letting you know that this is a negative person. This is not somebody that you need to have around, period. um and then there's also when your pet might react to another friend and they're totally fine. They're actually happy. They're excited to see this friend and they act like they're their pet. Well, that's your pet letting you know that this is a good person. I'm loving this person's good vibes. They're responding to the positivity that this person is exuding. So, I made this video to make everybody aware. Okay. Please be aware. Please be conscientious. And let's try to deal in kindness, okay? I'm somebody who I'm not necessarily a religious person, but I do take on certain religious principles. I'm a very spiritual person, and I live my life by what they call the seven heavenly virtues. And the seven heavenly virtues is kindness. There's kindness, there is patience, okay? There's charity, meaning love, all right? Then we move on to diligence. Okay, so that's not you being lazy, but that's you doing things in a timely fashion. Okay, getting it done. All right. And then there's compassion, which a lot of people lack these days. Oh my God, it is so hard for these days for people to just put themselves in the other person's shoes and be like, well, wait a minute, you know what, I hear what you're saying, and try to be like, okay, okay, I understand how you feel. I've never been through that, or maybe I have been through that. And just be like, okay, I can see that. Just kind of connect for a minute. People don't do that. People just don't connect anymore. Um, and then there's humility. You got to be humble. Humble yourself. It is okay. A lot of people these days have way too much pride, and they're too proud to say they apologize. They're too proud to admit to something when they've done something wrong, or even positive emotions. Like, people are too proud to say, I'm sorry, or I love you. And it's really weird. We got to stop doing that, guys. We got to understand that positive energy is not bad. Positive energy is your friend. I promise. It increases your lifespan by 1,000. Okay. Like, seriously. It also helps your immune system. Did you know that? Oh, that's what NGR is for. Yeah, it actually helps your immune system. If you ever notice that people that carry a lot of negative energy are always sick. They're always sick. I mean, oh my God, they can't make vaccinations for that. But if you ever notice that somebody who carries a lot of positive energy within themselves, they're always healing faster, they bounce back quicker. It takes them less time to get over things like the common colds and things like that, things that might take people a little bit longer to go through. I've noticed that even women who are, constantly carrying around negative energy, their menstruals are horrible and they seem to last forever. But I've noticed that women who carry a lot of positive energy, and they're very, happy and just kind of relaxed, they're it's like they don't even know what's happening, just like they tend to be like more loving and more sincere, when they're not that they're not sincere, because usually nice people are sincere all the time, but they're a lot more sincere, they're a lot more affectionate, and you're just like, I thought you were supposed to be mean right now. I thought you were supposed to be Satan in heels right now. And you'll definitely, guys, pay attention to that. That is a tip for you guys, or, ladies, if you're checking out another chick and she's the beast when she's on her menstrual, think about what she's like when she's not, okay? Think about the things that she does, because this person might just be carrying a lot of negativity. Um, and then last one is purity. You got to be pure of heart. Okay, pure at heart. Yeah, a lot of people forget that, you have to do things with good intentions. Okay, not just good intentions, but you do it with a clean heart, meaning you're not doing it because you want the recognition. You're not doing it because you want something in return. You're doing it just because, you know what, you would love it if somebody did it for you. Okay? And you say to yourself, you know what, just because somebody didn't do it for me doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it for somebody else, especially if that person has earned that, from somebody. Even if you're not their partner, you're not their mate, whatever, they've deserved to have something awesome happen for them that day, even if it's a tiny gesture, like paying them a compliment or taking them to lunch or something like that. You see this person struggle every day to spread that positivity, and you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna do something nice for them. Okay, I'm gonna, and then or if you're presented with issues in life, and somebody is coming at you, or they're upset with you about something or whatever, and your first intention, your first inclination is not to attack them. It's not to be like, well, whatever, you're a liar, and come back with the same negativity. No, your intention is to, okay, wait a minute, let me listen. Let me hear them out. Let me see, if there is something that I can do to rectify the situation, or when you sincerely apologize and you say, you know what, I apologize for, hurting your feelings or whatever. And then you try your best not to do it again. I'm not telling you guys to be chumps though and just let people walk all over you. Absolutely not. I'm saying that there are ways that you can deal with negativity without becoming negative yourself. And that's it. Okay. So, and I'm going to be posting a video about ways that you can do that as well. So, thank you guys again so much for watching. This is Katie J, the Indigo. All right, and we'll be back later on in the week for more information. Love you guys. Peace.